Funnel builders, Mike Killen here from sellyourservice.co.uk, and today I want to do a quick review of Rob Moore's new book, Routine Equals Results. So I'm a huge fan of Rob Moore. I absolutely loved his book Money. I absolutely smashed through that. I bought the audiobook, then bought the real one. In fact, you can also see I've got the 44 most closely guarded property secrets, and I've read Life Leverage. In fact, I've read a bunch of Rob's books. I absolutely love him. He's a UK entrepreneur. And as soon as this book was released, went straight over and went ahead to buy it. The first thing you'll notice is that it's much smaller than Rob's other books. And in the book, he even calls out that not everything has to be War and Peace. I have heard some people say that Money is quite long. Having said that, I think it delves into some of the big complex issues. Same with Life Leverage. So I would rather something be thorough. For example, the 44 closely guarded property secrets, that's very thorough. This, however, was absolutely outstanding. I was quite surprised when it came through the door because it was so short, and usually Rob kind of goes into crazy amounts of detail, but instead, this book itself is designed for people who want to get more done and perhaps feel like they don't run their own lives and that they want to get kind of more out of their day to day. Even if you're not based in the UK, I highly recommend trying to get a copy of one of these. The blurb says the most successful people who seem to get the most have the. Let me start that again. The most successful people who get the most done seem to have a set routine. One of the big things that I noticed about kind of running a business and building out my revenue and recurring revenue and building out my lifestyle is the more people I have focused on, read about, learned from, they absolutely have some kind of routine and they are ruthless with their time. It's interesting, as Rob has got older, I've noticed some of his books have become more philosophical, which I think is really fascinating. I absolutely love that approach. And this book, in fact, this book even starts with a story on philosophy about filling a jar with rocks, pebbles, sand, and then water. This book, while extremely practical, does in fact talk through a few key aspects of an individual's personality, such as confidence, working with other people, building your own life, feeling obliged to work on other people's priorities. The thing that I absolutely loved about this book was its ability to help me create a plan and a management process to manage my life better, very basically. I completely agree with Rob that time management is an absolute joke. We all have 24 hours in a day. It's actually how we manage our life, and whatever we do with 1 hour is probably a reflection of what we'd do with an entire day. Rob also takes us through quite a pragmatic approach to find out what the best working schedule is. Rather than be a cookie cutter technique and a cookie cutter diary, Rob actually goes through 4 or 5 different kind of biological and psychological reasons why you might want to try a different diary approach, and then gives examples of each different type of diary, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. I even saw myself in this as well, which was really interesting. It talks a lot about guilt as well, and working this kind of 9-to-5 job or 9-to-5 pace that everybody is supposed to be doing, this 8-hour day, and really it doesn't really exist, particularly when it comes to running your own business and working through your own kind of entrepreneurial abilities. I just want to give you an overview of some of the chapters here. We have this delusion about time, that was really interesting, and the irony of more time. Rob makes the point that if people say that they had 25 hours in a day, they'd probably just fill it up with the same shit they're doing in 24 hours in a day, which was really interesting to me. Deleting some of your tasks and getting rid of them, which was very difficult for me to have a look at, as well as, and this was kind of the most important part, this energy log. So looking at a 21-day work log and looking at a 21-day energy log, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. If I've recently told you to log your 21 days and log your 21 days worth of work and 21 days worth of energy, it's probably come from this book. I've read through it a couple of times now. To me, some of the biggest takeaways were based around batching my time, which I thought was really interesting. Blocking out time is something I've always been quite good at. I've always been quite pragmatic with blocking out time for what I consider my obligations first, but with Rob's IGT, so income generating tasks, and KRAs, key result areas, it's kind of changed my perspective, and I might go back to my management diary and start thinking about different ways to be able to work out the process inside it. Ultimately, this book is designed for entrepreneurs, people in a career, or business owners who want to get more done, I think, in their lifetime without having to rely on working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. If you feel that you've got kind of time slipping away from you, this might be the exact book that you need to read. It's quite short. It's fewer than 100 pages. You can smash through it in a day quite comfortably. I also found that the resources that Rob mentions in the book are also very, very useful. I kind of printed them out, had to play around with them, and we started using these for a couple of days now. And it has already, interestingly, shown some results of things that perhaps I was a bit ignorant to. In my opinion, don't buy this book if you haven't already got some kind of idea about routine management or time management or life management. I think if you were to read Life Leverage and then read this, you get more out of it personally. That's not to say that if you haven't read Life Leverage, you shouldn't buy it. I do think that it probably builds on management and time management techniques that you might already know about. For example, if you've read, which he talks about in here, Flow, as well as a few of the other kind of books on time management and life management, which I've read and which I think are very interesting, then absolutely pick this up, because what it is essentially a kind of like a 21-step plan on how to build out a more leveraged life and give yourself more time back without having to rely on kind of interruptions from other people and things like that. So in the meantime, yeah, really love this book. Absolutely outstanding. Really good of Rob to kind of publish this out as well. I know that he smashed this out relatively quickly. And it's nice to have, it's kind of nice to have a shorter book to read, to be honest, because Mondays usually are my day to learn and to catch up with my reading and to really focus on, these kinds of things. So it was nice to have a shorter book to be able to go through. It kind of reminded me of Rework a little bit by Jason Fried. So yeah, Routine Equals Results, Plan, Manage and Master Your Diary, Time and Life by Rob Moore. Highly recommend getting it. I'll probably have a link to it below. In the meantime, guys, if you've read this, then let me know in the comments. If you've ordered it, then go ahead. If you're a member of the progressive community, let me know in the comments below. It'd be kind of cool to hook up in there inside Facebook as well. In the meantime, I will speak to you all later. Thanks very much for watching. Keep building those funnels.